Sandy Shore here for SmoothJazz.com. We are at the 53rd Annual Monterey Jazz Festival presented by Verizon with General Manager Tim Jackson. And this is our first interview with you, actually. We've worked with you for years out here. Glad to finally catch you.
Yeah, we're old friends.
We are old from the flautist days.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Jazz flute player. Fantastic. I don't know if Brian knows that.
No, you were flautist. I didn't know that.
Great player.
Weekend. Well, I'm not in. I'm just a weekend warrior.
Well, it's okay.
He opened for several of our
You
concerts.
play because
by the
you
way.
love it. That's what's about it.
But most importantly, the duties here keep you busy pretty much 360 days a year.
Between my duties here and up at Bromberg Jazz, I'm booked.
You are, I know you are. This is a fantastic festival. Great lineup this year. The 53rd annual, very eclectic this year. Maybe leaning a little more straight ahead, would you say? Or?
I don't. I definitely agree with the eclectic.
Eclectic,
Yeah.
we'll go with that. Yeah, okay. And some more world infused stuff. We saw Jake last night.
Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to get over there. Was it good?
He was riveting, actually. He was amazing,
Yeah.
and the crowd was packed, and it was encore after encore, and to see one young guy with a ukulele,
yeah.
by himself on stage he had the crowd in the palm of his hand, and he's such a great musician. It was phenomenal to see that. And he's amazing. He actually is really amazing. Incredible talent.
That was a fun booking.
It was great.
Okay, so question is, a lot of musicians watching right now, when do you start booking this event?
Actually, no, it's already started.
Okay.
Well, let me give you my card. Because my band's available next year.
Yeah.
We're working it.
Yeah, I got an email this morning from Brian.
Yeah, right.
Of course. So seriously, you're underway for next year right now?
Yeah, pretty much have to get started.
Okay, you have to. This is the biggest festival in the country, if not the oldest.
Oh, it's the oldest. There's bigger festivals.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
But still a very big one.
It's big.
Yeah. Okay, and so tell us about your team. How many are on your team to produce this
We
thing?
have about eight people working year round.
Okay, and then on the weekend?
On the weekend, between probably another 100 staff and another 150 volunteers.
Okay, yeah.
So we utilize volunteers extensively during the festival.
And they do a great job.
And we have, we bring in a lot of the people aren't, we hire the vendors, the sound companies and things like that, and then they bring all their team.
Well, the one thing that's amazing about this festival that I've noticed from playing here as a sideman and just being around here and just spending this weekend cruising around is how incredibly knowledgeable this audience is. And this isn't your typical festival audience. Oh, it's a nice day. We're going to hang out and listen to some jazz or some music. This is a destination festival. The heritage here is amazing, and the audience, they really understand the music and the artists. And it's incredible to be around because you can see it, you can hear it just in the conversations as people walk by. They know what they're talking about.
I agree. I've learned never to underestimate this audience.
That's right.
You really. They let you know it if they like it or if they don't like it, and they're very you can kind of throw the book at them and they'll respond.
Absolutely.
They know what they're doing.
It's very impressive, and from a musician that plays, it's great to hear it because these are your people. This is why you play. These are the people that you want to play for because they actually understand what you're doing. And when you hear when you go hear one of the performances and you hear somebody that's playing very mellow or soft, there's not a word. People are listening, and it's incredible to hear. Sometimes hundreds, if not thousands, of people sitting there listening, and it's really wonderful to see that.
Last night with the Billy Childs initial piece, very with the string quartet and very soft dynamics. And,
Do you want to get
I was very proud of the audience. You could hear a pin drop out there.
That's right.
There weren't any cat calls or shouts. It was just really very respectful, and it's not always like that. Sometimes, particularly on the Saturday afternoon show, it gets a little rowdier, as it should be. I think it would be a mistake to try and take the festive out of the festival.
Yeah, that's a good point.
People want it to be. They want to come and have a good time. I think what's good about this audience is they do come looking to have a good time, but they're very respectful about it.
So how do you, for the people watching and listening now, how do you find the balance between, when you look at the history and the heritage of this festival and who has played it over the years, the biggest names ever, and how do you find a balance between what would be the really serious music for the serious artist that's truly about the art form, and the entertainment for the people that just want to have a great time, but may think, wow, it's Monterey, it's a jazz festival, it's cool, but they may not be the real serious jazz fan. How do you find the balance between what is the entertainment aspect versus what is the true artistic presentation? How do you pick that?
You know, it's sort of, I mean, I could sit down and draw a grid every year and you know, put in then all the exact people that you like to see, but the fact is that, you know, best laid plans of mice and men, you know, most of the time, for whatever reason, it's not going to work out that way. So you really have to be able to be flexible and have kind of a festival of this size. You know, you have to have a certain number of just, you know, flat out, more, you know, the Harry Connicks, the Diana Kralls, the Tony Bennett's.
More mass appeal, we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, crossover.
The kind of the crossover sort of thing, where it will appeal to, if you go and get your hair cut and your, you know, barber says, well, who's playing at the festival, you know, and they're going to say Harry Connick. Oh yeah, I've heard of Harry Connick. Or if you say, you know, somebody else, you know, some lesser name, Chris Potter or something that's not a household name.
But jazz people love Chris Potter.
Yeah, that's no disrespect to Chris.
Amazing.
He's amazing. He was here last night.
It's a great balance, and I know it's an art form that you have to put this together like that. I mean, it's a great balance. And I know you have to run, there's a lot going on, but I do want to address the nonprofit angle of this festival and the huge impact that you've had on children and young youth jazz players around the world.
Well, what you've presented today with all the bands and the booths and the education and everything else is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm proud of this organization. I mean, because it's been around for 53 years, obviously. I mean, I've been here for 20 years.
That's even older than Brian. Can you believe
that?
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but it actually is.
But, you know, this organization was founded as a not-for-profit in 1958, which to present jazz under the banner of a non-profit jazz organization in 1958 was, I mean, I can't...
Unheard of.
Yeah, I can't imagine, I mean, I don't know this for an absolute fact, but I can't imagine that there was ever a jazz organization that was incorporated as a not-for-profit prior to that.
Right.
And so...
Probably right.
So we've always had an active, strong board of directors that's been very dedicated to education, and I mean, we've got a great education director here, Levin, and you know, we've built the program up to where it's very comprehensive at this point.
Can you throw a few numbers out, like some of the amount of money raised for children and what you're doing?
We spend for our total budget as an organization has been around $4 million. We're just a mid-sized organization, but we spend about $850,000 just on the education.
Yeah, but in the jazz world, that's enormous. That's fantastic.
That's an enormous amount of money, and it's rooted in this community, but it really reaches out to where we take student groups on international tours in the summer. So they're playing in Japan, they're playing in Europe, they're playing in Canada.
And these children, over these years that I've known since I've lived here, have become amazing adult players. Many very successful with recording careers. You've seen it as well.
Oh yeah, no. Even last night, like in Billy Child's piece, Scott Colley, the bass player, he came through our high school all-star band.
Right.
When he was in high school, there's musicians all around the fairgrounds this weekend who, at one point, were active in our program.
It's fantastic. And just one more thing, Brian, and then I'll let you have it. But in front of Chris Potter last night, I think they were all about 17, 18-year-old kids lounging all in front there watching him play because he's one of the most fantastic saxophonists in the world.
You were talking about balance earlier, you know. An artist like Chris Potter is so important to have at a festival like this because Chris really has found a way as a really strong instrumentalist to cross over to a younger audience, playing serious music. And I've always given Chris credit how he's been able to build like his underground band that he has to build that to a point that, you know, when he'll play in Santa Cruz at Toowoomba, all of a sudden all these college kids come out and go, man, I love it when young people come.
And he is a phenomenal player. I mean, it's like he is truly phenomenal. But you know, it's interesting because if it wasn't for people like yourself and the organization, I mean, if it's a collective if we don't help educate the next generation of this music, there will be no next generation of this music because most of the masters are gone. and it you know, it's got to come from someplace. And if you think about back in the day, even when I was a kid and practicing and really into playing, and before that, you know, your options were kind of limited. Well, now you've got cell phones and texting and internet and Wi-Fi and games. It's like, to get kids' attention, to actually take the time to practice and the dedication to practice and learn your instrument, and to have the brotherhood of what it's like to play music with people is such a rare thing.
And sisterhood.
Well, the mankindhood, that's right. You know, and the fact that so much of the musical education has been cut in schools, that it does take an outside organization or a nonprofit to come in for the outside to keep that moving, or if not, this music's going to go away.
So we appreciate
and the audiences are going to go away.
Right.
You know, let's face it, most of the kids that come through our program, a small percentage of them are going to go on to be professional musicians and be the Brian Brombergs of the next generation. But what we hope is that music, and particularly jazz, is will play a major part in their life, and they'll become, really, to put it bluntly, the jazz consumers of the future. That
Absolutely.
They'll come to the Monterey Jazz Festival. They'll buy Brian Bromberg records. They'll listen to smooth jazz. You know, and they'll participate in this great music.
Smooth jazz, the gateway to jazz.
The gateway to jazz. There you go.
The driveway to jazz.
Yeah.
Right.
Tim, we love you. Every year it's great to see you.
All right, Sandy.
You're doing always
it's
a good
pleasure.
job. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Brian, thank you.
Pleasure.
MontereyJazzFestival.org. Tim Jackson.